Okay, so this is going to be part 3, I take it. It's 3:25 in the morning, West Coast time, Friday, the 9th of August, 2024, the Weaver John C. Roseman, California. Okay, so, leading up to this particular portion, I'm talking about the Cal Fire situation here. Things I've been going through, so I led up to this area. Cal Fire is still showing a few burns, still active, and still making me sick to my stomach. The certain areas are still very much happening, and it's making me very sick to my stomach. 34% containment as of right now. You got 4 counties being torched, about 427,000 acres. That's a lot of acreage. That's a lot of real estate. Looking at the fire map on CAL FIRE, they've got artistic expressions about the fire out there. We're only talking about California. We're not even talking about the rest of the states or even Canada. Canada is going through its own fire season. We've got other fire seasons happening all over the place. And it still makes me sick to my stomach. The other fires are already put out, and the other fires are starting up, depending how big they are, and how nasty they are, and how ugly they are. I look back at the Antelope Valley here, the wedge. How many small fires we've actually had? The coverage maybe about 50, almost 100 acres, and then they were put out, but nothing active, except maybe certain fires we still have that still are taken care of, but they did some major damage. And it still scares the hell out of me because those fires were taking out a hell of a lot of things. Now, if I happen to go for one more thing, let's see, Morel Fire still having it. There goes my dog. She was awake this morning. Burrell Fire, 59,000 acreage. It's been out there for a while. Let's see, Burrell Fire has been out there since the 24th of July. They've got 84% containment, so they've got a handle on this monster. And this is still located in Kern. And that's good, because we still got another fire somewhere out in Kern in Tulare County. That's about half contained. It's only about 32K acreage. There's my dog again. Hold on a second. Two old farts griping and grumbling about her aches and pains this morning. Okay, so let me get out of Cal Fire. That already gives me enough of a warming glow. No, we're going to get into USGS. Oh yes, let us get into geology, shall we? Shake map. How about the latest earthquakes? That's a search engine right there. Worldwide? No, I'd rather not worldwide, but how about we just go for it, period. So I look at an entire large shake map here. And the world's still a dynamic place. Hawaii's gotten their own fair share of shaking. Somewhere in there. Actually, previous shakings. Smaller earthquakes in the main island. Bahala. But yeah, we've had our fair shares, and so had Japan. I'm not mistaken. Right along its fault lines, it's had some pretty good shakers. Major one out in the Fijis, 4.8. That'll wake you up. New Zealand. Well, we had one in New Zealand. Roughly about It was 3 o'clock in the morning. So they had shakers on that one. Very, speaking of which, bus budget's here. Mama, come on. Work them knobby knees of yours. Alrighty. Alright, sweetheart. Come on. Alright. Just want to make sure she's alright this morning. Yeah, so according to the USDA shake map, we've got activity happening out in New Zealand. Nothing major, except it's a flavor, and that'll catch your attention. That'll catch your attention. So that's going to be news for a short time, except for New Zealand. They're going to be talking about that for a while, at least close to them anyway. Kermadec Islands, they called it. We're close to them anyway. Stop service. I kept asking myself concerning about the one out in Bakersfield. This is one of those that USGS didn't count on, didn't see any activity, so yeah, naturally, we didn't see this one coming at all. The Lamont area, or close to it anyway. Yeah, it's just small subshakers out there. I mean, it's nothing major happening. Except we did have, past several days, we had the aftershocks happening from that 5.2. Several kilometers deep underground. But yeah, it was a pretty good shocker for that one. Oh, she's used the pads. I'll have the previous information on there once I put the filters on here for past maybe, I don't know, several weeks. They also had shakers in the Midwest. Previous ones. Not as big, but they're still shakers. 2.9 out in Oklahoma and 3.2. Let's see, one's over in Dibble. 3.2. Early in the evening. And they had a 2.9 in Orlando, Oklahoma. All within this past week. Now it's either waking up to a new fault line over there, or they're fracking, trying to get oil and trying to get resources out of the ground by screwing up with the damn groundwater, disturbing the jet. Oh yeah, disturb the bedrock with all the liquid in there, and you'll expect to see some kind of shifting around. Force it to do something else. Ground don't like that. Ground says, "What you doing to me?" This is what it's doing to them. Speaking of being disturbed, come on, Mama. This is too damn early in the morning for both of us. My dog is having a conniption fit. I don't know if she's freaking out, but something spooked her ass. So if she happens to do something on the ground, and I've already got it with the pads, I got it taken care of. Yeah, she did. I smell it. I'll take care of it in a few minutes. I'm not worried about it just yet. That's the one thing I never hear about the politics talking about. I mean, they're talking about what they're going to be doing for the good of the country, for this and that and everything else. When it comes down for the sciences, one ear out the other ear. We try to talk about the sciences, and it's a mystery to people. That's why we have the experts here to confuse the living crap out of them. Or, if you listen to them long enough, you actually picked up on the lingo and find out what they were talking about. We've got geologists and seismologists out there working for USGS, not to mention Caltech Seismology Laboratory. And for decades, they've been telling us what they expected, what they didn't expect, what kind of deformation we had in the ground. Not exactly the mineral content, then we'll get into that specifics. But how does it affect the population? That's the thing. I'm looking at my dog. She still wants to go outside. I'm saying, no, we're not going outside just yet. Lay down. She's going to be a handful this morning. I know some people actually have questions about other people don't know what they're talking about concerning about science. Well, that's true. I never said I was an expert. I never said I was an expert concerning about science, but I tried to dabble in it a little bit. Not good at chemistry. Geophysics. Touch of astronomy, yeah. Maybe cosmology if I got my burr up on there. Geology, yeah. Gone through a hell of a lot of earthquakes. Listened to a lot of experts at this point. Tried to take a couple of geology classes in my youth, and then in my later adult life, just to take another to refresh myself and get college credits. Doesn't make me an expert. Just trying to get myself up to speed on what the science is telling them these days. And I kept noticing that differences back then and now. It's when it comes down for classroom and it comes down for lab work, it's the same. But in field geology, changes. Dynamics change. So they're still teaching you the basics of what rock formations are, how the rocks are formed, how the minerals are formed or dissolved, how weathering would be changing your whole landscape in an instant, or gradually, where you don't even see it until it's too late, where you have to have stabilization happening. People get about 2 or 3 on a magnitude scale in the East Coast, and they go nuts because they hadn't experienced anything like that before. In the West Coast, we've got it. We got ones and twos happening all over the place. We just don't recognize them. We get a 3, we still don't recognize it. We get a 4, we're like, huh? We'll feel a little bit of emotion and go back to bed and sleep that shit off. But we happen to get a 5, yeah, that's an alarm clock right there. That's where you want to hit the pause button, snooze button right there, and just say, shut up. You get a 6, you're up and up. You're up and running. You get a 7, you're not running, you're praying to God to protect your ass. Now look at the USGS and they got the majors, but there's always these minor fault lines that nobody else suspects. Said before, Earth is in constant flux. It's in constant motion at this point. Scares the hell out of people if they actually put this in a larger context, other than listening to someone else's windbag being telling people he's going to change everything. He's going to change it. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Hell, he can't even figure things out. But he's going to do everything, huh? Yeah, right, sure. Except play golf. He cheats at it too, I hear. Some people can't stand Kamala Harris's smile, or even her laughter. How dare you laugh? You can't be a politician. You're laughing. You're like one of us. How dare you? Ha 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 ha. Bite me. Yeah, so we are dealing with a lot of things today, aren't we? I was getting overwhelmed. I decided to take a mental vacation on this one, watching old shows I've watched again, just so I didn't have to hear the claptrap going on, because to me it sounded like the same damn buzzing all over again. And they're still talking about the buzzing this morning, both on CNN and MSNBC and on Fox. And this morning they'll be talking about what's happening out there. The independents will be taking up all the clips they can and making their own opinions. That's what they're going to do. That's what they always do. Just to make sure we understand what's going on, we have all the facts, we have everything we need so we can make our own educated idiot guesses left and right. How to drive us nuts. Meanwhile, at the end of this week, probably Saturday or Sunday, we got the Olympics leaving Paris. But they got the Paralympics out there now. As soon as the boys who are actually the people that are the athletes and they're actually able-bodied, they're going to do their thing, and the Paralympics come in, and they're going to be doing their thing. I heard that there was controversy over the Paralympics, not because of the venues or the competition. No, because they were there, period. Somebody made a rotten joke somewhere out in the internet. Kind of pissed me off when I was reading something about this one on social media. That they had an issue against the Paralympics because they're disabled. Someone's picking on disabled people, and this is for the GOP party. I'm sorry, for the Trumplicans. They just want to make a name for themselves at this point over here by picking on disabled people. Ooh. But the corporate media, no, they're too quiet on this one. They don't touch it. And I haven't heard too much on the independents talking about this shit. So I'm still expecting that to happen. But the bag on independents, actually the bag on the handicapped, there was an old terminology that pissed off a hell of a lot of people. That's why they don't use it anymore. And I'll probably say that one time. Cripple. They had talked about it in the Bible. If they want to get burp their ass on this one, that Jesus healed the crippled. These days we use the politically correct terminology of disabled. And we're still defining what disability is, physically and mentally. Jesus would have a field day over us. Meanwhile, let's see how the rest of the week goes. Actually, the weekend goes.